Hi everyone, thank you for joining. So today we are going live with the Derry from Hong Kong, and we're going live right now. I think it's in a minute, and we go 1, and we go 2, and we go 3, and we go 4, and we go 5, and it's the first time we are doing live ever. Hey Derry, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hold
Hey,
on.
what's up? Holding.
My headphones on.
Okay, no worries. Good to see you there.
Yep, and you? Hello, everyone.
Hey, hi everyone. Thank you for joining, for those who are joining, and thank you for everyone who, hi Reese saying hi, our friend from Malaysia. Hey, Derry, how have you been?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Happy Friday. How are you?
Good. Is it your first live on Instagram?
This is my first live ever.
Yeah, same.
It's really strange.
Yeah, I know, right? I've never done this before. It's just like you can
Look
see
at all
those
these
people.
people watching.
Yeah, those people
Like
popping up.
3 people.
Yeah, thank you all the 19 people who joined us and watching us right now. So Derry, hi. Maybe you can start from introducing yourself a little bit because you are from Hong Kong, but you are extremely famous, popular, and passionate photographer that everyone in Malaysia is admiring.
No, let me
So,
think.
yeah, so maybe you can tell us
You
a little
asked me
bit
to
about
sum it
yourself.
up in 20 seconds. So,
You can have
how
more.
I
You can have.
how I got into photography. I got a degree in architecture. I got my camera for my studies. I practiced with it in automatic mode for a while. And then I booked a flight to Asia. I got stuck in Hong Kong. And this is where I kind of learned to use the camera outside of automatic mode. On the weekends after my job, which I got in architecture, I was out exploring the city and I was learning how to use the camera. I was mainly shooting city stuff and street stuff, and then I moved into events, and that just happened through like networking and meeting people in Hong Kong. And then I kind of quit my day job after a while, and now this is like my real thing.
Your real full-time job. But how come you shifted from architecture to photography?
I got
Was
really
there?
bored.
For
Architecture was great to study, but working in it was completely different. So it was not as creative as I would hoped it would have been. So my creative escape from my day job in architecture was taking pictures at the weekend. It just wasn't as good as I thought it would have been.
Is it so your weekend job was more exciting than your daily job, and that's how you shifted to all of that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that's cool. So have you ever regretted doing that?
Now I will go back into architecture in a heartbeat because I have no work.
Is that bad in Hong Kong right now?
Yeah. For events, it's the same. It must be the same where you are. It's completely dead. Like the event industry is completely ruined, and that was has been my main source of income for a long time. So to have that go down, it's been a bit rubbish.
Well, I believe it's all going to go back. It's just a matter of time. So we just need to go through that phase when, it's just it goes down. We wait through it. We are staying creative. We do some creative things on the side, like a side income here and there.
Yeah, you need to diversify and find some other avenues of income.
Have you been doing anything in terms of that? Because, we are photographers. We create a lot of beautiful visuals. So have you been doing anything maybe to sell the prints or postcards or stock photography?
Just trying to sell prints on the side. And I'm trying to push other avenues of photography like portraits or products or like real estate, architecture, drone stuff. It's tough. I saw that you are doing stock photography.
Yeah, so we started doing a stock photography because we accumulated such a huge volume of photos from the events we photographed. And some of those photos are evergreen, like just a photo of the beautiful chair or the photo of the flower bouquet. Yeah. And those photos, they add a value to the story of the event when you photograph it. But once event is over and it's been already, let's say, 3 years,
Yeah.
No one is using that photo. So we thought, why not to put that photo on a stock website and try
You're
selling it?
very clever.
Well, it's I think as a creatives, we shouldn't just be stuck only with the visual creativity. We should flex our mind also with the business creativity,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
that's what we've been doing. So we've been uploading to the Stocksy website,
Yeah.
and not Stocksy, sorry, Shutterstock website, and it's been doing quite well. The sales are slow, but I think you should not give up on that, because once you upload the photo, it stays there for years. So eventually someone from some country in the world will need that photo of the flower bouquet and will discover it.
Yeah,
So,
that's the
so
thing though, isn't it?
yeah,
Stock photography is so specific. You could even like make up some of the things that people need for their projects and they're willing to pay a lot of money for.
yeah. I've seen you've been selling some of your prints. How is that going?
Slow.
And before
You can
that,
see
was it
one
also
behind me
slow?
right now. If you want to
Can you
buy
can you
this,
can you show me?
you want to see
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
this
Oh,
one,
that's cool.
guys. 500 Hong Kong dollars, or I will accept the same amount of currency in bags of rice, toilet roll, or hula hoops.
Is it Hong Kong?
Yeah, this one is it's in a fishing village called Tai O.
Uh-huh.
This is in Lantau Island,
Is it
and I've
far
got a
away
few more if
from?
you'd like to see.
So if people want to buy, where can they go and check it out?
You can go for these frame prints. These ones are left over from my last exhibition, so you can just drop me a message and I will hand deliver these to your door.
Uh-huh.
But my online store is where you can pick from a much broader range of images on my Derryography website.
Wow,
You
you
got
have
this
another one.
one.
Nice. Nice. Is it drone photo, right?
Yeah, this one's drone.
What about the resolution then when you print? Which drone are you using to take these ones?
The Mavic 2 Pro.
And the resolution is good enough to print that large scale, right?
Pardon?
Resolution is good to print large scale print like that.
Yeah, but what I do with the drone photography is I try and merge a few images together to increase the resolution for printing's sake. So usually also to get a wider perspective of the shot, I try and merge sometimes like vertical panoramas together.
Yeah,
So I'll take a few shots and I stitch them together in post. So that helps with printing, because I found that the resolution on some of the drones is not great, especially if you're doing low light.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the same here. So how did you get into the drone photography? Because you said you've been doing a lot of events, right? And as far as I know, you were official photographer for the music festival in Hong Kong as well, right?
Yeah, drone stuff kind of came, I got interested in that because I started shooting the city and I started exploring rooftops, and DJI was starting to bring out these drones. Eventually I bought one and I played with it, and I just wanted to see what new perspectives like aerial photography could give you on the city, because I'd seen it before drones had come out, and then when they came out I was like, oh wow, you could do some really cool stuff in Hong Kong, because the city's so dense and there's so many cool buildings. It's literally like an unlimited playground for a drone photographer. So yeah, that got me into it. Yeah,
And do you need a permit to climb on like, because I seen
we don't
you
talk about that.
you fly from the street, right?
It depends. You need to pick your launch point. You have to be careful though. You have to be like safe with where you're flying.
Safe meaning like that there are no wires, there are no people, or there are regulations?
Safe is in like you want to keep it in line of sight. You want not too much interference. Hong Kong has got a lot of buildings, so the metal in the buildings actually, it causes a lot of magnetic interference with your controller, and if you lose signal, this is when things start to go wrong. And obviously, when you're flying over the city, it's best just to be safe, because it's like.
Do you need a license to fly in Hong Kong?
Not in Hong Kong. It's a gray area at the moment, but I'm sure it's going to get much stricter.
Yeah, because it's such a photogenic city that I think it's a missed opportunity if you travel to Hong Kong and you're a photographer and you have a drone in your backpack not to do it.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Do you have any favorite spots in Hong Kong where you like to fly it? Oh, it's a secret.
No, not. It's just it's hard to have a favorite spot. I don't know, because I try and shoot a lot of different things every now and again. So
Yeah.
no, I don't really have a favorite spot.
Let's say maybe the spot where you would be coming back daytime and nighttime and you still get amazing shots regardless of the sky or light
I think
conditions.
anywhere around the skyline in Central, you'll be fine for a good drone shot. It's hard to take a bad drone photo of Hong Kong Island. You know, it's got all these amazing buildings and stuff. So yeah,
that's really cool. Yeah.
Come on, it's my turn to ask you questions now.
Okay. Sure.
You've asked me too much.
Happy to answer.
Okay. Introduce yourself and tell me how you got to Malaysia and how is it there?
So for those who are watching from Hong Kong right now, I'm actually from Lithuania, the small country in the North Europe. But I've been living in Asia for the past, I think, 14 or 13 years. And for the last 8 years, I'm based in Malaysia right now. I got here because I got a job offer from this amazing company called Mind Valley. They invited me to join them as a creative director back then. So I came in and I fell in love with Malaysia and its culture and the people, and I stayed. And it's been 8 years, and the same as you, I felt very passionate about taking photos.
Yeah.
And I started taking photos in the nightclubs.
Mm-hmm. That was your first photography gig, was nightclubs?
Yes, actually, I started doing that in Beijing when I lived in there.
Okay.
There was this website called Beijing Tonight, I think.
Yeah.
And it's like a Facebook, sort of. And I went on the website and I saw advertisement. They're looking for nightlife photographers. And back then I was like, what is a nightlife photographer? But because I was studying in Beijing, I just emailed them and I said, look, I'm actually studying here and I have time at night. And I saw you need a nightlife photographers. Just one question, do I have to have a flash? And because I didn't have a flash back then, like external flash system for my camera. Yeah. And they replied like, yeah, actually you have to have a flash. I'm like, oh, well, I don't have a flash, so I guess I'm not suitable. Bye. And 1 year later, I bought the flash just for fun. And I emailed them again. I'm like, look, I got the flash. Do you still need the photographers to photograph nightlife for you? And they're like, yeah, sure. And they sent me to this party. I think it was called Yen Black. It's just some kind of rave party, completely dark, no spotlights, nothing. And I just went there. And the photos were horrible, of course, but I really enjoyed the energy of the people. I bet you know, because you photograph nightlife yourself, you know how is it.
Yeah, it's a good buzz.
Yeah, it's a good buzz. And what I love about nightlife, why I stick with it for so long and why I still feel the thrill photographing it is because when you go there and you see all these people on a dance floor, the energy is amazing because regardless of who are you, whether you are a banker, you know, whether you are student, whether you are a lawyer, where you are intern who is still studying, you become one in the club.
Yeah.
So that energy, you know, of people just having fun, just relaxing and enjoying the moment is amazing, you know. And you, as a person with the camera, have this opportunity to come and to talk to anyone, you know, to
you have all access to anybody.
Yeah,
right?
it's like your passport, the best passport in the world. So it's like your best passport in the club to enter the safe space of any circle of friends, individuals, the DJ, the bouncers, the bartenders. And on top of that, if you like photography and you challenge yourself and you start, you know, experimenting with the light techniques, with the flashes, with the soft boxes that you put on the flashes, the photos become more and more interesting. And you show those photos when you take, like you show the photos to the people when you take them, and people love it. So they give give you even more permission to take the crazier photos of them as the night goes on, which I think is fantastic. So usually the way my workflow used to work is I would come to the club, I would, you know, when the buzz is about to begin, usually in Malaysia, it will be around like 10:40 to 11:30. I would come to the club and I would see who is in there. I would go to them and I say, hey, can I take a photo of you? And I would just take a normal photo of them and I would show him. And they'll be like, oh, okay, great, thank you. So I would do it to as many people as I can at night as soon as I come in, because that will psychologically for people will give a familiarity of the photographer. They're like, okay, this is the guy who takes the photos tonight, and he shows the photos to me, so I feel safe because I know the photo was good.
Yeah.
So that you do the one round like that, then you wait a little bit, you know, enjoy them.
Wait till everyone gets drunk, and then the pictures get way better.
But you see, there is this, I think there is this 20-minute gap between tipsy and drunk.
Yeah.
Where the best photos happen. Because if people are too drunk, it's just a mess. You know, the photos don't look good, and then you don't want to post them, and it's just a shit show. Yeah. But if you hit that sweet spot of 20 to 30 minutes when they are tipsy and you have the permission to photograph them because they already know who you are, then you just go for that half an hour and you get the best shots ever. You know, it's just people are relaxed, they are dancing, you know, you can play with the light trails.
Yeah.
And, you know, after that half an hour, then you just, it's all up to you, whatever you need to take a photos to complete the story, whether it's a wide angle of the fisheye, whether it's some like DJ photos, whether it's a bartenders. But basically then the night is done already, you know.
Agree. Yeah, those last hours are the ones where you fill the gaps of the stuff you haven't got. And I think you'll probably have it the same as I do. When you shoot an event for a few times, you kind of have a formula of what you want to achieve photography-wise. Like, you want some detailed shots, you want the wide shots, crowd shots, you want like the no flash, you want flash, you want a mix of everything, right? And once you've done it a few times, it sort of becomes intuitive. And
I think it's very important to change lenses as well.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah, so my rule of the thumb is 3 lenses a night. Yeah. So it's a 16, 35, 50, and fisheye.
What camera are you shooting on?
Nightlife, for me, the best is on Canon.
Yeah.
For me. We do have in my company, we do have Sony, we do have Canon, and we have a Nikon systems.
Yeah.
But when it comes to nightlife, it's only Canon. And the reason is because the skin tone of the people is the best on Canon. And the flash recycling rate is fastest on Canon. Nikon is also good, but the skin tone is better on Canon. And Sony is complete disaster when it comes to flash photography.
Sony with the flash is the most impossible thing, honestly.
Exactly.
I put money into a flash and I tried to use it and it's supposed to work. And there have been times where I've had a group of people and I've been like, hey guys, get together, take the picture, and the flash doesn't work. And I have to pretend like I didn't mean to use it. And I was like, okay, the picture is taken. They're like, did you even take the picture? And I'm like, yeah. Shit.
Yeah. So exactly the same. So yeah, we use Canon. So yeah, going on to your question. So yeah, so that as you know yourself, when you photograph people in the club and you take a good photos of them, and you get their business cards, or you give your business cards to them, and you make sure you deliver photos, or you make sure they get those photos, and they like those photos. Your client database expands just like that.
That's exactly what happened to me.
Exactly. And I think that's the golden formula for anyone who wants to start any sort of photography in a new city where they don't have any connections.
Yeah.
You know, it's just to do it from the nightlife. I know it might not be for everyone because it's extremely tiring type of photography because, you know, you're mingling among a lot of people in a crowded space. It's dark, it's sweaty, the music is blasting, and then it's late hours, and especially if you have a daytime job.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it just drains you. But if you love it, I think your photography career will just skyrocket like nobody's business in
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Do you ever
Yeah.
find that you need to ever balance it out with another type of photography just to keep you interested in photography?
When
Uh,
I was doing it full time, no. For me, no. I actually wasn't longing to different type of photography when I was doing nightlife photography because I think there are so many things you can do in a nightlife. You
yeah,
know, you can do the portraits, you can do the DG shots, you can do the light trails with a wide angle, you can do a product photography of the drink, you can do the backlit product photography of the drink, you can do the two flash system behind the DJ. You know,
yeah,
it's just opportunities are unlimited there. And I believe in a daytime, it's you are in the mercy of the daylight, which is great. And I still think it's easier to take the photos in the daytime because when you click the shutter, the photo will be there,
yeah,
regardless the angle, regardless the focal length. But at night, if you click the shutter, the photo might not be there because it's either, you know, the flash will not fire
yeah,
or for any other reason. So yeah, so I think I didn't miss it because it was so challenging and so rewarding at the same time.
yeah.
So
Very sociable too.
yeah, it's very sociable and you know, the interactions, those momentary interactions, like a little sparks that you have in the club, is just, I don't know, for me, they will charge me up all the time. You know, the people are happy, you are happy, you take a photo of them, they're even more happy. You charge
Yeah.
up and you just continue going and going and going. You know, what about you? Were you longing for different type of photography when you shot in nightlife?
Um, for me, I get no. For nightlife was once I started doing events, I was the same as you. I was really into it. I was always excited to shoot events, um, but I still like to kind of go out at the weekends and shoot other stuff like street and cityscape and other types of stuff. Um, but rather than like at the start, I had to learn different types of photography because I quit my architecture job eventually and I went full time in photography. And as you know, Hong Kong is not a cheap place to live. So I had
Yeah, yeah.
to kind of branch out into different types of photography. And I had to like hit the ground running in terms of learning. When someone asked me, "Oh, can you shoot food?" I was just like, "Yeah, sure, I can do it."
Even
I
though
would have
you've
to
never done it before.
yeah, I have to get straight on YouTube and be like, oh my God, how do I shoot food photography? But these are the things that sort of made you learn and made you learn quickly. And then once I got comfortable and money got better, then yeah, I could sort of pick and choose the fields that I wanted to work in more than the others. But events is the thing I always come back to, and it's always been the thing I love shooting the most for the exact same reasons that you said.
Yeah,
Um, it's about like the little buzzes that you get off meeting people, the little moments that you see happen.
yeah,
Like for like a few hours or however long the event is, like people kind of forget about everything else and they're just enjoying themselves, right? They're lost in the
yeah.
moment. Whether it's like you're in a festival, like people forget about the rest of their worries and they just go a bit crazy. Everyone's dressed up, and it's a really cool position to be in as a photographer, to capture a moment like that. And especially when like they share it and then they post it because it means something to them. You caught a moment for them, and it's quite rewarding to be in that position, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think you also add on to the experience of the event itself. If photographer, you know, can approach people in a nice way, take a good photo of them, show them the photo, help them to pose, make them
Yeah,
more beautiful. It's just, I think it adds the value just like, you know, the photo booth. I don't want to compare us to the photo booth in an event,
yeah,
but what I'm saying is just it just added value to the event if they hire a good photographer that can not only make a good photos, but also entertain the people and make them
yeah,
feel special, right?
yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. So have you,
Coming
yeah,
on to my next question.
okay, 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 sure, go on.
No, because we're going to continue on the theme of like the moments and the
Yeah.
capture. I'd asked, yeah, if you got any memorable moments from shooting events, like ones that really stuck out that you were like, pinch myself, this is really cool. I can't believe I'm here shooting this.
Yeah, I think for me it was the music concerts that I used to photograph in Malaysia while they were happening. And
Concerts.
yeah. So, you know, beside like for example, one of the cool experiences I have had, I photographed Metallica in
That's
a pit area, and it was
yeah,
the very first time they came to Malaysia in all the history of band's existence. It was the
yeah,
first, and well, I hope it's not the only time they came. But one moment I remember very clearly was when I photographed a Future Music Festival that
yeah.
was happening in Malaysia, and the Prodigy was headlining, and I was a huge fan of Prodigy band back then, and I went backstage. I had a huge team. I think it was like 13 of us, and
Whoa.
I was managing all the photographers, so I didn't have enough time to take photos, but I still had a camera on me just in case something happens. So
Yeah,
I remember I go backstage and I see it's written Prodigy on the booth. And I do know all the guidelines that, you know, you don't go into the face of the artist, you don't approach them backstage because it's their safe zone.
yeah,
You photograph only when you have the permission to photograph. And the main guy from the Prodigy, not the Keith Flint, but the blonde guy, the main guy who I don't know his name, who established the band. He plays the keys and he composes
yeah.
all the songs. He comes out from there, and I was like, oh shit. And he's like, yo. I'm like, yo. He's like, do you want to take a photo of me? I'm like, yeah, can I? And
You
he's
just
like,
stood
yeah,
there with your
sure.
camera, like, yes,
Yeah,
please.
yeah. So I'm like, just please fire. And I took a photo of him. He's like, do you want to take a photo with me? I'm like, you and me? He's like, yeah. I'm like, no, it's fine. I'm official, so we don't do that. He's like, no, come, let's take photo together. And I'm like, no, it's fine. He's like, come here. So I come, and he's like, okay, take a selfie now. And I take this photo with the flash of him and me.
Yeah,
And he's like, yeah, happy now? And I'm like, yeah, you know, and then he goes away, and I'm like, wow, you know,
that just happened.
yeah, and then I think in my head, like from the days when I was back home in Lithuania, listening to the tapes of Prodigy, you know,
Yeah,
and thinking they are everything in the world, to this moment here in Malaysia, another side of the globe,
yeah,
with them experiencing this moment. And I think these are the moments when you realize that how lucky you are to do what you love, to get paid for it, to get these incredible experiences, and on top of that, help other people, team of my photographers, to experience the same thing and empower them to participate in this experience as well.
Hi, Dan.
Hello, everyone. Yeah. So, by the way, guys, if you want to ask questions, just feel free to ask questions in there.
Don't
So,
ask
what
me
about?
silly questions. I don't want any of my weird friends coming on here and asking stupid stuff.
Yeah. Ask. He will answer. So, what about you? Do you have like the memorable experience from all your photography gigs that you've ever done so far?
I would agree with you with concerts. Some of like the events thing was cool, like doing nightlife. But it's really when you go to like a live music performance on a scale of a concert, and you get like the permission to go into the photography pit, and you're so close to artists. So like some of them are like your favorite artists at the time. Some of them are things that like you probably wouldn't have even like been able to see otherwise. Sometimes you can get backstage, and like those moments, it's like, what? How is this my job?
Yeah. And there is so much trust put in you, right? The organizers put so much trust in you, so
yeah. So it's quite a responsibility because you have to get your shots. Like you're there, you're enjoying the moment, but you have to do your job, and they're relying on you. If they hire you in an official sense, like your pictures represent the festival, and those pictures can go to like media, and they can be seen global. So you have to deliver, but you also have to enjoy it at the same time because it is good fun. Another one for me, though, apart from concerts, is I got a travel photography job, which was last year, which was amazing. I got sent to a few different countries, and I'll possibly never get a job as good as that again. And for me, just to be able to get paid and go explore some new countries that I'd never been to was so rewarding.
Which ones were they?
I actually came to Malaysia last year for the first time.
Oh, nice.
That was
for work.
Yeah, this was part of the same travel photography project. So the idea was to try and get some new kind of unique shots of, I think it was 5 or 6 countries that I did. They gave me a brief and like a style guide and some different categories to fulfill. And they just sent me away and let me do all the organization and the planning. And I went through China. I did Macau. Hong Kong was one of the countries. Thailand, Malaysia, I think it's a sixth one, Singapore.
Nice.
So I roughly did about a week to 2 weeks in each place. And yeah, some of those places like China and Malaysia were new to me. So having the opportunity to see those places and have a bit of a mission to be there was super rewarding. Like I was like really grateful to have the opportunity to do that and earn money while doing it. And now that I'm locked in and I have no work, I keep looking back through my old pictures and videos like, oh, how good life was. And
it's okay. It's going to go back to old. Don't worry about it. So I want to ask about Malaysia. When you came in here, how was the Malaysian food? Because Malaysians just love their food, and I agree. It's the best food in the world.
Yeah, it was good. What did I have that I really liked? God, I can't remember. But I actually met up. I met up with someone who took me around and was kind enough to drive me around Malaysia. I went to see a lot of the temples and some of the Instagram-ish type spots. I had done my homework and I had a list of places that I wanted to see and like ideas for shots that I wanted to get. So it's really nice to meet up with a local in Malaysia and then have her show me around and see some stuff that maybe I wouldn't have seen if I hadn't reached out to someone, you know. Where were you when I was there?
I don't know. When was this? When did you arrive here?
I think it was September, October.
Last year, September, October.
Yeah.
I was here. I was in Amsterdam because I used to go, same as you when the jobs were there. I used to go to Amsterdam every 2 months to photograph an event in there. Incredible event. It's a 365 days of success. It's just like a few thousand people event that happens there every 2 months. So I used to photograph that. I want to ask you about Malaysian architecture because you have the training in architecture. What do you think about KL's architectural landscape?
It's developing. No, it's developing. When I was there, I've seen there's a really big building being built in the city center.
It's called the Merdeka Tower.
That's going to be a big one, right?
Yeah, it's going to be the tallest in Southeast Asia once it's finished.
Petronas Towers, they were really interesting. I've never seen them before, so it was cool to shoot them once. You've probably seen them a billion times. But the thing is, I also liked, like with a lot of Asian cities, that they've got really raw, like, streets. Like, you've got some flashy architecture in there mixed amongst some really raw, real-looking streets. And it's funny because Malaysia I found it to be so colorful compared to some other cities that I've been to in Asia. Even the run-down places, like all the paint and stuff for the buildings is really colorful. But
I bet you were in Chinatown somewhere in the Petaling Street, probably.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
It's the one that has like... I think one of the busier markets in the middle, and it's got all the flags going up it. I think.
That's a Chinatown.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
It's extremely photogenic.
yeah, so that was cool.
Yeah.
But to be honest, even in a week's time, it's not enough to really properly explore a place. I only got to see little pockets of it.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, but where
yeah.
people can see the photos from Malaysia that you took, or is it on your website?
I've got all my photos from that trip up on my website. I have a travel page, so it has all
Okay,
of
so
the
people
places
can go on your Instagram profile and then just
Yeah,
the
my
website is
website.
there, right?
Yeah, just go on derryography.com. At the top it will say travel, and I've listed all the countries I've been to, and you can just browse through
Nice.
countries I've been to. Yeah.
Yeah. Look,
Yeah.
I've seen we have a question here from a Narven. Narven.
Yeah.
Narven asked us a question. How did you venture from being a nightclub photography to corporate shoot, Gucci, H&M, etc.?
That's you.
That's you. That's you. That's both of us.
I haven't shot. Okay. Yeah, I haven't shot Gucci. So.
Yeah. But still, I think it's the same formula of what we spoke, right? It's you go to the events, you photograph the people. Those people end up being Gucci, brand manager, or someone who works for Gucci, or someone from the marketing department.
Yeah.
You take a good photo of them. You make sure they get that photo one way or another, even without knowing what they do. I think that's another key point, is like not being judgmental and selective. It's just being open to everyone exactly the same way, regardless of who they are and what they do. And then the doors will open for you. So the same is with Gucci, it's, I guess someone somewhere was photographed by my team member, or maybe myself, and then just they liked the photo, and they just invited us for the trial shoot, and then they liked the trial shoot, and they keep on coming back to us. Or H&M or anything else. I think when it comes to photographing for brands like that, I don't think it's in any way different than photographing on a nightlife, because it's you with the camera and the people.
Right.
And the people just keep on being there. You keep on making them feel comfortable. You take a good photos of them, and it's just maybe the people who attend the event or who hire you, they have a bigger network, so they already can plan where they can put you next, or whom they then connect you or recommend you to someone else, and then it just spreads like that.
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. I think, like you said, it's through networking. It's through, I guess, naturally meeting people through the nightclub shoots that you do. You will meet people who work for like marketing manager of a company, and it will just happen like naturally. And then when they have an event, which they're like, oh, we have a brand event, we need a photographer, they're going to be, oh, I remember this guy who took a picture of me in a nightclub and it was really cool. And then that's when they reach out and you realize you swap cards on the night, and that's how, I guess, you get your different jobs. But I think like what you said, where you transfer your skills from nightclub photography over to just a corporate or a branded event is quite okay, because like I said about the formula, you learn how which shots you need to get, and you learn the different types of photography that's maybe will suit the brand more. But you kind of pick that up once you do enough of any event, I think, right?
And to add on top of that, you transfer the skills, you make people feel comfortable, but it's also very important to look to look good, when you shoot those events, because you cannot just like dress up like you dress up in a club, because in a club you can wear the t-shirt and sneakers and all that jazz. But when you shoot for the big brands, you have to be a bit more smart and dress up better, behave better. For example, we have the rule in a team that we don't eat or drink during these events that we photograph, because we want to focus on work and we want to look professional. So I'm very much against, using all these perks during the event that are catered to the attendees, because you are there to do your job and attendees are there to enjoy the event. So you do your job 1000%, and let attendees enjoy it, you know. And if it's a very long event, and let's say you want to have a glass of water, I always go to the person who hired me, organizer, and ask them like, look, is it okay if I go and grab a glass of water?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one thing. Another thing is like you don't start giving out your business cards while you shoot as well.
Yeah.
It's a big no, because you are there because client trusted you and they're paying you. You are not there to network. Once event is over, or someone approaches you during the event and tells you like, oh, can I have your business card? My to-go answer is this: oh, we can talk after the event, or if you really want to get my contact, you can talk to the person over there. They are the organizer. They hired me. You know, because I believe you have to be professional and you have to be focused, you know. You kind of just go and like, oh, here is a finger food. I'm going to grab this and I'm going to take a photo. Then I'm going to have a drink and then I'm going to pass my business card. You know, I don't think that radiates professionalism from you. So yeah, I avoid all those things and I follow very strict protocol that, you know, you are representing your brand, you're representing the client you work for because the client trusted you. You know, you have to have a very good communication skills. You know, you have to make people relaxed. You have to make people comfortable when you take the photos. And rule of the thumb is, I believe that you have to show the photos to the people after you take them. And I told this once to my fellow photographer, and he said, oh no, it's a big no-no to do that. And the reason for it being is that you showing them all the bad photos because they are unedited, you know, and the composition might be not right and you need to fix it later. And I disagree with that because I believe if you look at it from the photographer's perspective, like, yes, maybe you're showing your bad work, but those people, they don't understand the composition and the color who are attending the event. What they understand is whether they are looking good or no, whether they like the photo or they don't like the photo. So by showing them the photo you took of them, you building a trust and connection between you and the model.
Yeah.
And the second one is you giving them a chance, and yourself as well, to correct that photo and to make it better. So let's say if you took a photo of someone, you show them the photo and they're like, oh my God, I don't like it, delete it. And then you say, okay, let's take another one. And then you take another one and then they change the pose or they bring a friend along or whatever it is there. And then you take a photo and they show them and they like it. They will remember you as the photographer who took a good photo of them, which means in the next event that you're going to be photographing and they will be there, it'll be easier for you to get their photo. And if they're a celebrity or someone very important for the client, it's just a bonus for you because then you will get your job done easier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I see it.
No,
That's my philosophy.
There's some really good values and rules to have there for events.
So I try to.
Very important to leave a good impression with whoever you're shooting for, and that will get you returning work. And this is how you get work in other fields. It's about leaving the right impression with people. Yeah,
exactly. Returning customers are very important for me, because I would better have like 5 customers that I constantly work with than 50 customers that keep on changing every month, you know. Yeah. Denise Chow says she loves your Hong Kong pics. I love his Hong Kong pics as well.
Thanks, I love you too.
Oh, by the way, this thing is behind me is from Hong Kong. It just arrived today. I put it there to celebrate Hong Kong because here we are with you. It's by my friend. She's an illustrator. She did it. So her Instagram, you can check it out later, called C in Art, like C in Art. It's like she does amazing illustration. So I thought like, oops, if we're in Hong Kong topic today, so I'll better surround myself with Hong Kong fully.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Shout
so
out to C in Art.
C in Art, yeah. So now let's talk about the gear maybe a little bit, because I'm very curious. What gear do you use for your events? Because I've seen you've been using Canon since I've been following you. Then you switched to Sony and you were super excited because you started buying all the wide angle lens and everything. And so what's your final setup right now?
Yeah, so I started on Canon. That was just the go-to for, like you said, nightlife. So reliable and so robust. Like it could last through so many crazy events and festivals. The Canon was great, but eventually I started working in video as much as photos. So I was on a Canon 7D Mark II. That was okay, but the low light performance when newer cameras came out, it wasn't as great. And I wanted a camera that could do both video and photo better than, well, I wanted one that was like a good balance between photo and video. And so I made the switch to mirrorless, and I got the Sony A7R III, which obviously I had to like save up and buy the new lenses and the new kit.
Yeah.
And I've just got 4 lenses for that. So 24, 70, 70 to 200, 12 to 24, f4. And one that I like but I don't use so often is a Sigma 105 1.4.
Yeah. Have you tried using the MC11 Sigma adapter for Canon lenses?
No.
Yeah,
good?
because yeah, so basically same as you, we switching in my team from Canon and Nikon to Sony.
Yeah.
Because of millions of reasons.
Yeah.
And it's very expensive switch, as you know yourself. So in order for it not to be so painful in terms of finances, we discovered this adapter. So there is a Metabones, as you know, which is ridiculously expensive adapter. And there is a cheaper one. It's a Sigma adapter called MC11. And it's like, I think, 3 times cheaper than Metabones. And it works extremely well with the Sigma lenses for Canon.
Right.
Because it basically just translates all the technology of Sigma from Canon into the Sony. And they constantly keep on releasing updates for the adapter and for the lenses. The Sigma keeps on releasing updates. So whenever there is an update on Sony, we get an update on an adapter for lenses as well, and it works extremely well. You can't do certain things, like you can't burst really fast because the camera will hang then. But let's say if you're using 51.4 Sigma with the adapter, oh, it's a bliss. You know, it's really good. Yeah, so it makes the transition less painful in terms of finances.
So I'm guessing you had a full frame lenses for Canon, so that was okay.
Yes,
I was on a crop sensor, so
oh yeah, that's true.
Canon lenses aren't really worth.
Yeah. We're using only the EF lenses and Sigma lenses, and all primes, and basically we have everything that we might just need for any kind of shoot. Yeah. I've seen that. So
tell me your go-to setup for a nightlife shoot.
Okay, so Canon 5D.
I'm interested to know about your flash.
Okay, yeah, I'll tell you.
Your flash work is awesome.
Thank you so much. So I started with a 5D Mark II.
Yeah.
And then it got older, and I got 6D, the first 6D.
Yeah.
I bought 6D Mark II and I sold it a month later because I really didn't like it because of the white balance and the ISO performance. I think the 6D, the first, was better. I tried shooting with the 5D Mark IV, but the battery life is complete shit in there. So it just dies. Like if I take 1,000 photos, my battery will be like on 20%. But if I shoot with 5D Mark III, I can take, I think, close to 3,500 photos and my battery will still be running. So here we go. Setup will be, it's either 5D Mark III or 6D. It's a go-to cameras.
Yeah.
Mark III is better because it has more focus points.
Yeah.
Which is very important. So that's the camera. Then the lens. The lens is 16-35, fisheye, and 50. Depends on what I want to achieve. Now, because it's a nighttime and you can't focus in the darkness, we use infrared adapters. And I forgot the brand right now. What's the adapter? If anyone from my team is watching live, can you please tell me what adapters we're using to shoot the infrared beam? So that will help with the focusing. So it's also...
This is the secret. I did not know these exist.
No, so it's a trigger as well for the flash, for external flash, but it also has an infrared beam, which allows you to... Yongno, yeah, thanks Meng. Yongno. Yeah, thanks Nick as well. It's a Yongno adapter. So a second generation Yongno adapter. So what it does is basically shoots the infrared beam and it lets you focus very quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one thing. Then on external flash, you have a receiver and then you have your flash. And then in order to make the light softer, we use soft boxes.
Yeah.
And the soft boxes, the deeper the soft box, the softer the light. The deeper the soft box, the heavier the soft box. So it's very difficult to hold it for a long time. So I even got a scar here, over here, because I got...
Scars.
No, because you know what happened? From holding the flash for so many years, I got a cyst inside here. And usually the guitar players or violinists get it here because they use these fingers a lot. So I got it here because I've been holding the flash nonstop for so many years. So I have to do the surgery. So that's a good, nice memory. So anyway, so you hold the flash, right? You put a soft box on. So now we are using these soft boxes that we buy them from China, from I think Taobao. They're quite cheap, and they do the job. And yeah, so that's the setup. I used to use the cable instead of the remote triggers. The cable was more reliable because, you know, it never fails, but it limits the angles that you can take. So I usually put the cable behind me and I will photograph the camera and the flash in here. Yeah, and that's my go-to setup. And in terms of the settings, I try not to go lower than 6.3 aperture.
Oh yeah, flip that wrist, baby.
Yeah. And why is it so? Because it keeps everything sharp, you know, all the time.
Right.
Especially when you shoot the group shots. What about you? Is it the similar setup, or you have something different from what I mentioned?
I'm using my flash at the moment. It's the Godox V1S, is it?
Yeah.
The round head one. It's kind of like the Pro Photo rip-off.
Well, how is the round head? Is it good, the round head, or no? Because
it's good because the round head allows you to have a lot of different adapters and attachments to it. But the problem is, I told you, the Sony, sometimes I can't figure out why the flash won't fire. And I think it's me not knowing how to use the flash properly. Or I don't know. I think it might be to do with the like where you have the infrared thing.
Yeah. So what triggers are you using?
So I have a Godox trigger, because this is really funny because there have been times recently where I can't figure out what's going on with the flash. But if I stick the trigger on top of the Sony and then put the flash on top of the trigger, everything works fine. But then people are like, "What are you doing?"
You know,
so like, I couldn't figure it out. I had some awkward moments with some people where I was like, "Hey guys, getting a picture." Took flash, and like the flash doesn't go off. And I'm like, "Okay, let's just bang a trigger on," and it worked. And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, you know,
so I went with that.
There is a minimum distance from the trigger to the flash.
Yeah.
And if the flash is too close to the trigger, it won't fire. Right. Do you know about it?
No.
So if your trigger is here with the camera,
cool now.
It's a Godox. Your trigger is here, and you're holding your external flash in your hand, right? Yeah. And if you move to this distance, it will not fire. Because I don't know how they build it, because the distance is too short for the wave to travel. So you have to put it further, like physically further.
Wireless flash though, right?
Yeah, it's for the wireless flash, and then it will fire. I don't know why. Maybe because it's a wavelength, but I know it. You can't shoot holding your flash next to your camera. It just will not fire. You just have to hold it further.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
one thing.
You always hold the flash off camera.
Always.
Like you hold it always.
Yeah, always. Unless it's a specific setup where I want to shoot straight flash, but always, even for the photo wall, we hold it off camera, because then we can control the light very easily. Yeah. Look, I think we got a question.
I need to just check my battery on my phone as well. One sec.
Okay, go. Okay, this is a good question.
Why is it not
charging? This is a good question. Sharing a knowledge and skills to a third person. Are we creating a competitor? It's a good thing, or it's a good thing? I think it's a fantastic thing to share your knowledge, because I think that's the ultimate level of growth, of when you share your knowledge to others, you are learning yourself as well, because first of all, you're repeating the things you know already. And secondly, you're helping someone else to grow and better than you, and to share the knowledge back. So it will help you to grow. So it's like a circle, if you know what I mean. So I think it's a must. You must share the knowledge with others in order for you to grow, because otherwise it's like you're always limited to so much as that you know, and so much that you can do alone as a person. So I think we lost Derry because his phone died, and we also hit the 1 hour limit of our time. And I think we're going to be finishing the session once he comes back, if he doesn't come back. And I think there is another question we have in here. Which musician, a celebrity you would love to photograph, and why? For me personally, I really would like to photograph Barack Obama for a personal reason, because I think he's a cool guy. And for a photographical reason is because he's extremely photogenic. And I think there are so many things you can do with him, because I don't think he has a bad angle. And I believe I can do really cool shots with him. If you go and check allisamazing.com website, you will see other presidents I photographed and politicians. And I really love to show the human side of theirs, you know. And I think with Barack Obama, it will be even cooler, you know, to bring him to the next level. And we have our celebrity back in 3, 2, 1, boom. He's back, and we have 1 minute remaining of our conversation, Derry. Are you there with us?
Overheated, sorry.
I thought it's hot in KL, so the technology overheats, but I see it's hot in Hong Kong as well. So Derry, we have a minute left, so I think it's a nice wrap up right now for us.
Yeah.
And I would like to bring up this question for you, which I think is a really good question, is sharing knowledge and skills to a third person. Are we creating a competitor, or it's a good thing? What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think you should always share. I don't think it's good to treat it as a competitive thing, because I would love to share knowledge on how to make people interested in photography, because it's such a rewarding thing to do, even if it's not your job. It allows you to go out and experience things and look at things in a new way, and take some time off, and I don't know, it's creative and it's good. I think you should encourage it from anybody. So
exactly,
if anyone ever hides their tricks, I think they're a bit insecure, and I don't know, it's not a good attitude to have. You should be open with people. If people ask questions.
Always. And I think it will make you grow in the ways you have no idea how you can grow. Yeah. Okay, so on this note, I think I want to say thank you so much for your time and for conversation and for all the knowledge you shared with us.
Yeah, you too, Paul. It's been really good to chat.
Yeah, same as well. Thank you so much.